So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to be with you today. I'm so thankful for the Center Centre du Calcul Tunisia, who invited me here today with Asren, Mr. Youssef Torman, Dr. Rawia Awadallah from Gaza, and all the team from Asren. I'm so grateful for them for inviting me to be part of this event today. And this is a special session. You will not find any men session in STEM. It's women in STEM. So I want you to clap with me for the ladies who are participating with us today. Dr. Najah Alrashdi, Dr. Itani from Lebanon, she's with us online. Dr. Ryma Abassi from Tunisia, and Dr. Ouafa Bentaleb from Algeria. I'm sure you will enjoy this session with the ladies, with their inspiring stories. We're speaking about their challenges, but we will start this session by a great man, the Professor Islam Abou Magd. He will give us a keynote speech. تفضل Professor.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And thank you very much, Dr. Safa, for this introduction. I always, last session is always either less participants or sleepy, so I will try from my presentation to make it fast and as exciting as possible to make your little participants awake. It's me, Islam Abou Magda. I'm the president of the National Authority for Remote Sensing and Space Sciences. And actually, I have more than 12 years now working for Africa and Arab region. I'll give you insights on the space technology, space industry, and how much this industry is very, very powerful and the potential for our area for the very near future, not just medium term or long term. Let me yes. So I'll go quickly with these space segments. I know we are talking about connectivity as in regional research and education network, but part of this network is a space and how in the very near future you will lean on the internet connectivity from space. If we look to the space segments, you will see there is 4 major segments: communication, media forecasting, navigation positioning, Earth observation, astronomy, and deep space exploration. Communication is part of what we are talking now about, the connectivity. Global positioning is very essential for aviation, for our movement on Earth. Earth observation is the other dimension that I'll focus on because this is what provides you information to make resilience or to make disaster risk reduction. Indeed, there is parallel and cross-cutting launching and rocket pads. This is quite important. We have in Africa a couple of spaces. We have law and international communication. Space law is one of the key elements. We have to look at it in our region in the future. We have limited number, and we have limited number for men and women. So research and development, industrial capabilities, and this is quite important. The space technology radiance, you will see that this technology started with a very big by tons of satellites, which reduced in size up to 1 kilogram now, and even 1 0.1 gram. If you look to the global position, all over the globe, there is a lot of space agencies that already have infrastructure, they have technology, they have infrastructures. NASA, ESA, CNES in France, Canada, Germany, all these kind of space agencies are taking the lead of this technology. If we look to the global space economy, it's currently about 600 billion US dollars. By 2030, it will be $1.8 trillion. So it goes very fast. There is an exponential increase in the economy of space. If you look to the African position, Africa is doing well, including the Arab area, Arab region. Many African countries, they have already established space agencies, or at least they have remote sensing centers. Egypt, Algeria, Nigeria, Kenya, Morocco, Rwanda, Gabon, South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe. All these countries are already have their space infrastructures and at least vision for space. Arab region as well. We have Morocco, Algeria. We have Gulf area, Oman, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Bahrain. All these kind of motivation of space going well to make a national foundation of space. But how these work together to make sure that sharing infrastructure, sharing data, sharing knowledge would increase the benefits. I think we share all the challenges and motivations, poverty, unemployment, evolution, climate change. All these challenges are the same for the same region. If you look to Africa, Africa is bigger than all these countries. United States, Argentina, India, China, all these together is less than by 0.1 million square kilometers for Africa. Even Arab region, they have 22 Arab states countries with about 13 million square kilometers. So I think sharing this is quite essential to think about the partnership and the cooperation. African steps towards a continental space arena. We started in 2012 by compiling a working group team by science technology to develop the strategy. We developed space policy, we developed space strategy, and been adopted by the Minister of Science, Technology, and Innovation, and being adopted by the head of Minister States. And then we went to the host agreement to create and establish the African Space Agency, similar to European Space Agency. It's been hosted by Egypt, and been signed the host agreement. This is already signed. The building is already there, building is finished. So now we are in the implementation plan. To do the implementation plan, we established the Space Council, which is our 50-50, 50 men, 50 women. So this is quite important that we are doing well for women. If you look to the current space economy in Africa, so we need, it's little amounts, about 19 million for, I can't see from here, from GNSS for global positioning. But if you look to the Earth observation and satellite data remote sensing, is very limited, about 170 million US dollars. We need this one to be $1.7 trillion, because this is what we think about how this data could provide solution to the community. This is a continental remote sensing market. There is a lot of growth of private sector, small companies, SMEs, or startups, or all this kind. We have to leverage this private sector and EO and programming and other activities of space and remote sensing private sector. This is very limited number of companies. This is a survey done on all Africa. Very limited number, very limited budget for each one and revenue. So we need to think about it, how to increase it. What is the future trends and opportunities for space in Africa and Arab region? We look to the space subsystem development. This is essentially based on research and development. If you have an R&D very potential, it will put you on the right track to make a subsystem or component for industrial and flight qualified component. If we look to the industrial components, we need space qualified components. We need space and application software, because the software on board or on the receiving station or on the PCs that is analyze this data, this is again is one of the big markets that we have to look at. Technology of the Internet of Things. I think Starlink is going to throw a large number of satellite data that will provide internet to everywhere on Earth. So I think this is going to solve the solution for connectivity. So we are connected, but how to make this connectivity valuable to the community? Operational services, we have to look to the community. What the kind of problems and solutions we have to provide? We have to promote artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, to provide automatic solution to the problems for the like disaster. The sister talking about our rising suddenly disaster. So priorities for African and Arab space, Arab states for space activity, educational satellites. We have to look at it, how to educate pre-university and early university, and this happened now with the TVET education. We looked at the TVET education in Egypt and they make a strategy and then build the technological universities that is 2+2 to solve this problem, to get into the market for the technician and provide the future technology for education. EU satellite data availability. Data availability, we have data available in Tunisia, in Morocco, in Algeria. How, as Arab and African, to share this together? How to make the value of the data momentarily provide the solution here and there? So it's already there, the receiving station, it's already there, the data. It's already there, satellite orbiting the Earth. So how to make sure that this data is beneficial to the community? Industry, space qualified component, ground station. I think the coverage I have showed in first slide, all Africa is covered with satellite footprint. African women, since I am ahead of a women session, I tried to link this with the women. So African women participation, we need to enhance women participation in the African Arab states activities in education, science, technology, and innovation. And exactly this is what happened. If you look to the UNESCO report about over the globe, 28% is just kind of women participation. This 28 of women participation, the lower number is in STEM. So we have to see what is Africa and the Arab region look at this. Africa is below 20%, unfortunately. Arab states, much better, they are 37%. So 20% in Africa, 30% in Arab states. Still, we need to promote it. How to promote it? We have to put strategies, policies, and then put all the motivation and the support to these women. If you look to the space policy, it's part of the policy. The lead was a woman, and the women inclusion is a part of the policy. If you look to the strategy, the women is part of the women inclusion, so we have put it as a priority. If you look to the council, we insisted to be 50%, 50% for men and women. So try to do this is good. If you look to the Science, Technology, and Innovation Strategy 2034, which is being developed and adopted by the Ministers of Science Technology last month, and it will be adopted by the head of states early next year. So women is part of women and youth is part of this TISA, Science, Technology, and Innovation Strategy for the next 10 years. The objective of the strategy is about TVET, enhancing TVET for women and youth, and STI-driven entrepreneur and business, particularly in the creation of technology based on medium sized enterprise. So women are part of this one, strengthening formal and informal STEM and TVET education training, promoting population of science. So all this is including women. the strategic priority for the strategy 2034 is also as youth and gender and women. So I believe we are doing well in this dimension. Even the action to achieve objective increase investment in STEM and private education, particularly focus on women and youth. So, but even the strategy, the last month, 3 strategies for Africa are adopted. Educational strategy for 2034, the 10 years, TVET strategy, science, technology, and the innovation strategy. The 3 are linked together and put as a priority women and youth as part of these strategies. I'll go through quickly an example how this data, space, and industry, and remote sensing data could provide a solution to specific problems. If we look to the air quality and how much we are facing air quality, which create health problem and create health pressure on the health system, either for elderly people or asthma patients or whatever. All this kind could be daily and even hourly be monitored by space, from space. And provides this via the connectivity, by connection to the community, to let them know. Like what happened in the airport. We came yesterday in the airport, it was a very weather problem. If we've been taking this, and I told the aviation that there is a problem in the weather, and even the other institution working for weather, they told, if they can manage it and try to make a solution for the community. If you look to the again, this is dust storm, and we are in Saharan desert, and there is a lot of dust storm, which create a problem and deaths over the roads or in the community. If you have this by space, it will warn the community and provide solution to the community and try to solve any problem. Marine pollution, and it's everywhere in our marine ecosystem, and they provide a lot of disaster to the ecosystem. In Red Sea, Mediterranean Sea, this is in Morocco, this is in Tunisia, the 2 in the middle, this is in Egypt, this is between Egypt and Saudi Arabia. So this, it becomes surfaces. Now it's provided surfaces. We look at this marine every day, every 2 hours, and provide the information. Information goes to decision makers. So it might goes to the insurance company, which get penalty to the who is doing the pollution. But again, it's iron earth that allow you to look at the information in the droughts. We are less of water, and we have to look at what problem with the water. So food security and water and the land, all these droughts could be monitored and try to provide solutions by space on a daily basis. Annual trends of marine environment and ecosystem, what happens if the temperature, for example, increased by 1 degree, what's going to happen to coral reefs or mangroves? This is a lot of things that provide a problem, and then provide a forecasting model that give some information. On Africa, on continent, you can provide in daily rainfall, what's rainfall, what is the soil water index, what is the soil moisture, what is the droughts, matrices, and even you could provide an integrated atlas with a simulation of next 2025, 2050, 2052, whatever, according to the IPCC scenarios. So I think this tool is quite necessary for our region, and the industry is quite important for us to increase our economy and social. And last slide is the conclusion. If, as a tips from my experience, that space is a big market, very big market. If we're talking about $1.8 trillion US by 2030, this is a big amount of money. How we will be part of this market? We need to support our R&D. We need to own the technology. We have to own whatever the kind of technology, even you own the programming, the development of a space qualified subsystem of a small component, any kind of technology. We need to get a support from political and decision makers. We have to pledge money, because we need, if you don't pledge money and put money on the table, you won't be able to do it for yourself. So we need, not by donation, but in a partnership. Integration and coordination, all actors, industry, universities, research center, all this together have to work together. This is why we are here. This is why we are here. We have to connect together, work together to partnership to increase our partnership with the infrastructure. Cooperation and partnerships, this is quite important and necessary. Market and outreach. We have to see who you are competing in the market. So if you are competing strong competitors, you have to be at the same quality. You have to provide competitiveness, quality, attitude, technology, all this education and capacity building for youth and degrees. And think about how to provide a solution like what we have done in TVET. TVET engineer wouldn't be work as a technician at all. So we have to build a technician qualified for the future of jobs. So we have to get the TVET technological university 2+2 that allow the graduate to work as a technician and with the future technological behavior. Engagement and promotion of private sector, this is important to increase the number of private sector, to promote the startups, SMEs, all this kind will have to get a support because these are the economy player in the community. Engagement of women, increase the number of professional jobs, leaderships. I think this is quite important. I'll end up with a quote. I think one of the speakers this morning told it. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you're going to go far, we have to go together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Islam, for this very interesting presentation, information. بس أشكره. Sorry. You have questions here from Mr. Youssef.
We have our my team also includes one of the space advocates. She's has master on space, and she's willing. We are as an interested so.
قرب المايك مش مسموع.
For the sake of time, yeah. To this community and work together and support this community. We have something to provide to this community. This is one thing. The other thing, maybe the other question is, now it is not, that was not a question, it's a call. But the question is, can we do something like what they are doing in Europe, EUMETSAT, unicast, broadcast of the data? Is that something that we can think together so that we make the data available to the entire community instead of making it local? Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I always do advocate about the space and in our region, and I made a lot of efforts for this one. I was the key person for hosting the space agency in Egypt, and I was co-chair for the developing the space policy and strategy in Africa. So I know how much this industry and this science is going to master the area. I have the data available and I can share it with anyone. I always say that. It's the data, the value of the data, if you share it, the value is exponentially increased. Instead of saying I made one application, so it will be times n of application from the community. So this made the value and the investment of the money bought in the satellite is getting more reward because you have made a lot of applications and benefit to the community. I'll give you a quick story. I know we are behind time. When we lost our first satellite, they asked us about, the politician asked us about, how do you lose this satellite by this X amount of dollars, and we are kind. What happened? I went to what kind of projects being done by this data and how much value of this data provided to solution to the community and translated into money. From this perspective, they start to understand the information and the data the cost is very huge if you use it on time. If you use it, for example, currently, I'm like the only one in the national level to do strategic crop monitoring. Why? Because the government needs to know how much, for example, corn or wheat we need and how much forecasting of this strategic crop, and so what is the gap? And they think ahead about the internal process of getting this into the from the local farmers, and what is the deficit to think ahead of getting this deficit from outside. So the information is quite important if you get it on time. So this is why the space is getting into a lot of solutions to the community. It's not about papers to be published in a very Q1 journals and get a high rank. It's okay, it's very good to be in the community, competitive in the academic community. But at the same time, it should be applied research that goes to solution to the community and the government. If you succeeded to convince the government by this, that is a critical to your decision and solutions, you will automatically get the support by money, by the passion, by the politics, whatever. Thank you very much.
لحظة دكتور بعد إذنك، لحظة خليك بعد إذنك. دكتور رضوان حابب يسألك سؤال كمان.
أنا خايف على وقتك بس مش أكتر.
لا we are feeling happy with this session, so don't worry about the time.
طب الحمد لله.
Okay, thank you.
أصل إحنا فكرنا نلغيها أنا والقائد بتاعنا.
Thank you very much for this presentation. In fact, I have two parts of question. The first one, are you giving services inter-organizational or international, or to normal people, or to customers, let me say? And the second question, or the second part, how do you deal with challenges, technology challenges like cybersecurity challenges and AI challenges?
Oh, thank you very much. First of all, yeah, I do personally, I have a mindset that I'm open to participate and work with individual and institution on a national level or institution cross-border. According to the legal process we have on our both laws, but at the end of the day it works. I work personally with Libya, work with some in Tunisia, some in Morocco, Sudan, South Sudan. So I have a lot. As far as you follow all the instruction coming from your government, but it's open. We do a lot of partnership and cooperation on cross-border. And the second question about the challenges, I think without the challenges, you wouldn't be able to make a success story. So we have to face the challenges. We have to overcome these challenges and find the solutions. We got a lot of problem with the cybersecurity, but we have to develop our own young engineers to be able to work on this one. We have to adopt other good example or other software available in the market. So we are open to all solutions. But one of the, from my perspective, one of the best solution I do is build our own capacity, our own infrastructure, our own knowledge to be able to resist any future problem. But the challenges is without the challenges, there is no success stories. Yeah.
شكرا جزيلا مرة ثانية بروفيسور، يعطيك العافية. والآن ننتقل إلى جلسة النساء في العلوم والتكنولوجيا والهندسة Women in STEM. العنوان تبعنا هو Overcoming Challenges، التغلب على المعيقات والتحديات وinspiring success. احنا في هاي الجلسة ما بدنا بس نشخص المشاكل، ما بدنا نقول احنا عنا التحدي الفلاني وفلاني وفلاني. أكتريتنا في هاي الغرفة عارفين التحديات، بس احنا بدنا نعرف من النساء المميزات اللي اخترناهم واللي اختارتهم آسر ان يكونوا اليوم كيف تغلبوا على هاي التحديات. فبدنا نطلع معاكم ومعاهم بتوصيات، بدنا نطلع بنصائح للنساء ان شاء الله، ونطلع بحلول اذا بنقدر طبعا. لانه زي ما شفنا من البروفيسور اسلام حكى انه النساء في الستام 28%، النساء الريسيرشرز بس 37%. يعني في معيقات، وكلنا عارفين انه المعيقات الكلمات البراقه اللي حكاها الدكتور اسلام، الاستراتيجيز، البوليسيز، والسبورت ستراكشر، والبرايورتيز، كلها موجوده. اظن كل الدول العربيه عندها استراتيجيز وعندها policies والwomen موجودة في كل محل في الورق صح؟ بس هلا بدنا نشوف على أرض الواقع يعني الحقيقة من النساء الناجحات الموجودين معنا. إحنا حضرنا بعض الأسئلة إلهم واتفقنا معهم مين بدها تجاوب أي سؤال عشان ما يكونوش هم متفاجئات. فبدي أبدأ مع الدكتورة وفاء. الدكتورة وفاء كانت في حياتها لحظات مميزة خلتها تنجح، فهي بدها تعرفنا عن حالها بكلمتين 3 4 5 هي بتختارهم، وبعدين بتقولنا شو السر في نجاحها، كيف قدرت تتغلب على المعيقات اللي عاشتها، وشو هاي اللحظة اللي اختلفت في حياتك في وقت ما. تفضلي دكتورة وفاء. ممكن مايك للدكتورة وفاء.
Hi. Ooh, can you hear me? Oh,
Is
good.
there translation or
So nice.
you want us to speak in English? We have no problem. Okay. Switch to English, please, Dr. Wafa. Okay, thank you.
Because my Arabic is not that good. So. If I would speak in Algerian Arabic, you will not understand, of course. It's a mixture of Arabic, Algerian, and French. So, yeah. Okay, I will present myself. So, I'm Ouafa Bentaleb. So, I started working in CERIST, is the research center in the scientific information and in Algeria. Started working there since 1999. So CERIST is the historical provider of service provider of internet in Algeria. So the first challenge I faced when I started my career in CERIST, it was like in that time, like the internet come to the world. So we started to get like connected people connected to the internet, teach them how to use internet, and it was very, very success and impressive time because and I loved the time when people like get connected and they were happy when they were connected and they get internet. The second part challenges I faced in my life, it was when I moved to work from management to in the science part. And I started this part in the 2006. So in that time, so it comes like the grid infrastructure, computing, and in that time we started to think about because in that time we have our national research network. It was already set up. And we started to think how we can deploy services that allow researchers over the country and to use the infrastructure. So this is the main benefit of the National Research Network. So was my first work in STEM. So we started to look for researchers, ask them what they need, especially researchers with the intensive calculations. So we started to get in touch with them, ask them what they need, what they use, how we can help them. And in that time, it was like a new project also in the world. And the project was initiated by CERN. So we believed in that time to the project, and we loved, for me, for example, I love new challenges, and I like to deploy new technologies. So my contributions to deploy this Algerian NGI, the National Grid Infrastructure, and I was happy every time to find a new researcher, help him how to get results, publish, and every time I met new researcher, the challenge also was like to understand the new environment like astrophysics, physics, because I'm computer science, and it was very, very great success and experience. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wafa. MashaAllah. Dr. Ryma Abassi. I know that we spoke about many challenges that we all face as women, and I think men also face challenges. So how did you overcome them? So you can speak about some of your challenges and how did you overcome them, please?
Okay, thank you. So I will try to respond as an African, Arab, Tunisian woman working in cybersecurity field. So I will start by just telling a small story. I like telling stories, by the way. So last year I was in a very technical conference. I was invited to give a conference about artificial intelligence and cybersecurity. So I prepared my presentation. I made my presentation. I responded to some questions. I was here. I was very happy. I did the job. So during the coffee break, it was just last year, so I wasn't even younger. I was the same. So, and during the coffee break, a handsome man came to me. I never met him before. So he came and he said, I want to apologize. Why? I don't even know you. So he said, when I saw the flyer of the conference, I saw your photo, I saw you in the room, sitting in the table. I was saying, how can she give me something useful about cybersecurity, or how can she give me anything new? So he came and he apologized. And this maybe can give you the point. As Tunisian, we don't have a lot of challenges, but we still have challenges, especially as women in cybersecurity field. So I will just try to expose 3 challenges. So the first one is what I was saying, the underestimation of our skills. So by default, I'm not being taken seriously. I don't know why. So I have to prove myself. I think I have to work harder and harder to reach the same level that my colleague, the men, will just reach by staying here, by coming. Just by coming, he will reach the same level that I have to fight for that. So I'm feeling that I'm fighting every day, just to prove myself and to say, I'm here. Don't misestimate me. I'm here. I exist. I can give you very valuable expertise, and I can help. Of course, the second challenge will be the limited career advancement opportunities, and especially because there is a lack of women in the top level, especially in cybersecurity. So there is a lack of this network, so it's more difficult for us to reach, to advance in our career and to reach top level jobs, because there is a lack of leadership. And finally, as I said, we are African, Arab, and Tunisian, so we don't have to forget the societal challenge, because since we are born, they say to us, you have to take care of your family, your children, your husband. And this is the priority. Your career is not the priority. And it is not that we don't believe in that, but it is part of us. So it's that, yeah. We have to deal with these challenges. So yeah, to overcome all of that, so you have to believe in yourself. I'm believing in myself. I'm not afraid to say that I'm here. I'm not afraid to fight every day, each and every day. I will continue fighting, but maybe I will need some more women fighter with me to help me. That's it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ryma. Really inspiring words, I think, for ladies who hear you and will hear you also online when we also pass the recommendations to the session. Dr. Muna, Dr. Ryma spoke about Africa, Tunisia, and so what about the Middle East, the other side of the Middle East? What about Lebanon? Is it the same in Lebanon? What do you think? Are you facing the same challenges and how did you overcome them? Please, Dr. Muna Itani from Lebanon, تفضلي. We don't hear you. يمكن المايك مش مفتوح عندك.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Very loud and clear.
Thank you, Dr. Safa. And for all the panelists, I really wished I could be joining you on stage today. Hopefully we will meet in person later, and I envy you for like now joining dinner after you dismissed this session. So basically, in Lebanon, I think we have like this perception from other countries in the world that Lebanon is a more liberal country. Women have more rights maybe than other neighboring countries. But again, if we dig deeper into the laws, into statistics, unfortunately we also have a lot of issues. When it comes to women in STEM, I would really say that we are privileged and very lucky to have made, along with other Arab countries, like breakthrough numbers in terms of girls who study STEM subjects, who go to the engineering school, which is very good. We do better than the US, better than Europe. However, when it comes to women who are joining, again, the workforce in STEM and sticking to STEM, we see a lot of spillover and a lot of women leave the STEM fields rather quickly. Some of them never join the workforce to start with. I believe what Dr. Ria mentioned about having to prove oneself, working super hard to just prove that you're worthy of your position. And of course, there's a whole different thing about rising to leadership positions. It's like we all know about the glass ceiling. This is definitely something that we see in
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Mona. Thank you very much, Dr. Mona, for this also inspiring story of yours. We will go to Dr. Najah Alrashdi. Dr. Najah, is Oman different than Lebanon, than Tunisia? Is your story different? I know that your story is different, so please share it with the, share it with the audience, please, and tell us about your very interesting story also.
Yeah, I'll try to make it short because I think we've had enough stories. Oman is different now, I should say. Previously, of course, I went through the same challenges. After finishing school, I studied, I was in Scotland for 6 years after school, and I came back to see the culture that I didn't want to see at the beginning. And it was all male dominated. They wouldn't appreciate a lady, especially graduated from abroad, coming in and having higher qualifications, maybe. I would still say that that was the past. In the past, alhamdulillah, now the things have changed a lot in Oman. So I started being not really wanted in that environment. I was the only lady. And it's interesting to know that I was the only lady throughout. Whenever I went to each department, I was still the only lady. But then I feel that somehow being a woman, you have those skills. It's not against men, by the way, but women, I think...
Don't take it personally.
Yeah, don't take it personally. And not all women, I must say, they have the skills of making you feel at home. Throughout my 25, 6 years, 7 years now, I think whenever I went to a place, I made it really feel home for everyone. So maybe that slowly started to change the minds of the people who were around me. They started to understand things much better. They started to be less discriminative. They thought they can get more rather than fighting back. So I think that was a big tool that I have used, and a thing that has empowered me to tell people who I am. And it's not being a woman or a man, it's being a person who is there to help everyone around. And because I started in a government department where most of the, let's say, tasks were done manually, and you know, I don't know if some of you remember those big log books, red books that we used to record our work, and I was so surprised by them being still using those big books. And I started encouraging them to, so why don't we digitalize? Why don't we use computers? You know, we can start with Excel sheets and all that. So I think that challenge was overcome not by me, maybe not fighting, but by showing people that I'm there to support. And slowly, I became the head of that section I was working in just 8 months after starting my first job. And then after that, I was taken to a different department because that department had other challenges that they were depending on me to solve. So slowly, slowly, moving from one department to another, they started to realize, oh, okay, so we should really appreciate the intelligence of women sometimes. And yeah, and then also having our own responsibilities. At those days, I was still young. I started still, of course, until now, you will still find a minority who are against, but most of, alhamdulillah, the people who we're working with now, they don't see us as women, they see us as colleagues working together, supporting each other. The personality of a woman really makes a difference. For me, that was the main thing that made me really go up the ladder, feeling that everyone is comfortable around me, feeling that I'm making everyone comfortable. And until now, alhamdulillah, I think the personality of a woman will make a difference if she is a leader at home, a good leader at home. She will be a good leader at work. If she's a good mother at home, she will be a good mother at work. I think I've got my team here who you can ask later on. And yeah, there's something in me tells me that, okay, those are the people I have to support and those are the people I have to be with. It makes all the challenges really disappear because I know where I'm heading. And in Oman, I must say, it has become much easier. And I hope that all the countries will just be doing the same because we don't need, our policies are all in favor of women and men. We don't have any policies against women in our country. It's just the mindset of the people who we're working with. But we managed to overcome that, alhamdulillah.
If we want to stay with you, Dr. I want to stay with you, Dr. Najah, and speak about the strategies that you found suitable for balancing between the personal life, the commitments, STEM career, and we heard that Dr. Mona faced this challenge, having babies and so on.
Yes.
And what do you think about this balance that I think most ladies are facing, doing the balance?
Yeah, you need to have the balance. I went through a lot, and maybe us as women, we will struggle more to find that balance, being multiple tasked people. And it wasn't easy because maybe a big chunk of my life was struggling through different issues and challenges that I've gone through at work, personal life, social, family, everything.
Did you have any supporting system? Do you consider?
At the beginning, no, I did not, unfortunately. Unlike many of the people who I saw and sat with, I did not. And that took me a long time to really settle down and put my own strategy of how to move forward. Maybe just recently, or maybe just, I would say, less than 10 years ago, where I decided to really have a good strategy, have a good balance in my life, for me, for my children. And it's the person himself. No one is, no matter what support you're going to get, if you internally, personally, inside you, you don't really trust yourself, you don't trust the strength you have, the power you have inside you, I think no matter how much support you will have outside, you'll just be stuck in there. For me, it was the opposite, because I didn't get the support. That's why that pushed me to have the support inside me and have the power to stand up and seeing my children who were very young at those days. Now, alhamdulillah, most of them have grown up. The values that I had my strategy was prioritizing my values, because it was all mixed up. And if your values are mixed up, your life will be mixed up. So what were my values? I started to prioritize them. I started to put number 1, number 2, number 3, what was my real important things in my life. My children, of course, will come at the beginning, but they were not number 1, because when your children are number 1, then yourself will be last, because other things will come first. So I decided that I should come first. And that was the value number one I put for myself.
I don't think that this is something easy, صح?
Yes.
You all agree with me.
Because and it took me some time
Yes.
to really get that inside me.
Yes.
Because I spent years putting my children inside and I was just going down. The moment I put myself number one, then my children followed. And they became number two, and my work became number three. And of course with my parents also, my parent. So that's a strong thing that I've got a consultation company now, by the way, that I support women and I support entrepreneurs and I support young people to overcome their challenges in life. So because I've been through that, now I know how to advise others.
Yeah.
And that's a big advice that I give
We
to
all,
everyone.
we all have to take an appointment with you.
Yeah, so
Yes.
maybe that was my strategy.
Yeah.
I decided to continue educating myself. And I think being in STEM, which was not my background, by the way. My background was finance and HR. But then somehow I liked the area of STEM and innovation and research and all that. And I think this area, being in STEM, encourages us to keep educating. We need to update ourselves in knowledge and information for you, for your community, for your life, for your children. So yeah, so me being number one, being happy, being educated, continue taking care of myself and my health, and then my children, they follow, of course, taking care of them. They see me as a role model, so they will have to just do whatever I'm doing. And it was the other round before, the other way around. So now, yeah, I'm much happier now. I have got happier children now, and I've got happier workplace and people who I work with, because I started with myself.
Very good. Thank you. Dr. Ouafa, you spoke about the breakthrough that you had. You were happy. How were you happy, and how you brought good for all? But I'm sure that you faced challenges, but you implemented things to overcome these challenges. So would you like to share some things with us here?
Yeah, so my strategy in my life, it's like to think about myself, but do not be egoist, and to think about all my environment, especially my family. When I grow up with my family, so I lost my mom when I was a child, so I have this mentality. So I raised like the small sisters and small, so I I felt like responsible of them. So always taking care, not alone, but with my sister, younger than me, older than me. So I have this thought since I was 13. So that's why I was like always responsible, think about everyone, share how we said the tundras, think about them. And also in the same time, I am this person to think always how to grow up. I love to always looking for new challenges, because I cannot live without new challenges. This is me. So this is what helped me. Also, when I joined CERIST, when I started with AlQuds since 1999, and I found like, oh, this big challenge, like the coming of internet, realizing this national research network, with helping the others. This is what the thing that made me happy. So this is one thing. And also I find myself between how to balance between my professional life and personal life. So personal life, like to take care of my family, and also professional. So for me in my career, so I started like with application engineering, so it wasn't like engineer of state diploma. So I worked few years, and then I said, okay, I will not continue with this. It's like, for me, it was a routine. So, and then I decided to study, to get another diploma, and my colleagues helped me, especially my manager, so helped me a lot. So they understood, like, oh, you need to learn new stuff, to get new diploma, to share the knowledge. If I learn more, so I will give more. So, and I love to grow in my position, in my study. Also, it helped me like helping the others. So I learned a lot of stuff. So this helped me in my research also, and in my career, to study more, to learn more, to search, to help the others, to share the knowledge. So this is I could grow, and this facilitated my and got success. I consider this a success in my life. So I was happy at the end. So.
We are happy for you also.
Thank you.
Dr. Muna, do you have any role model? Dr. Muna is with us.
Yes.
Okay. Could you tell us about if you have any role model, any mentor, anyone who helped you in your career?
Yes. So actually, I have multiple, and I would say that the role models change with time, right? So when I was like a student, I looked up to certain people, and when I got older, I looked up to other people. So it's always good to think about role models, and I always encourage my students to have role models. But again, this is something that is dynamic, it changes, and what's more important than having role models is to have, the guts and the courage to talk to these role models, no matter how they might seem to be like distant or difficult to reach, and to try to talk to them. And this is exactly what I did. I mean, luckily I didn't have like these like huge celebrities as role models, so they were people from my environment, which I really looked up to. And I talked to them and told them, like, I'm inspired by you, you are a role model for me, and I would like to be mentored by you. This doesn't always work, meaning that they might not always have time to dedicate to mentor you, but at the same time, it sometimes works very well. And I was very lucky to be provided with certain mentorship from these role models. And sometimes, honestly, these role models became close collaborators. Like we worked on multiple projects together, so I got to know them not just as mentors, but as like co-founders, as partners, and this made me learn even more from them. What's more important, in my opinion, is to also, whenever, even from a young age, we can also serve as mentors of others. And this for me is not just about giving back, it's about lifelong learning, which Dr. Ouafa was just talking about. So lifelong learning, of course, comes in different shapes, of course, about knowledge and, staying up to date, but also it means that you keep learning from everyone and everything. And in my experience, mentoring others is a great learning opportunity because first of all, when you talk to others, even if you're sharing some personal experience, you get to know yourself better. So you start learning about yourself, strategizing your life better, putting things into perspective, maybe understanding, certain situations you've passed through, why you reacted in a certain way. Because again, we are growth agents, like we are very dynamic as human beings, we change, we evolve. So in my opinion, mentorship for me is like the best thing that I do
Thank you for these advices, Dr. Muna. I think Dr. Ryma has more advices for us, not for us only, but for all the young ladies, the old ladies like me also.
Okay, yeah.
And yes, okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So just before giving some advices, I want to make a small experience with the audience. So please close your eyes, but don't sleep. Just close your eyes and think about a cybersecurity expert. What you are seeing. No. I think most of you will imagine a man with a sweet, with a sweet shirt in a dark room, maybe dirty room. So the first problem that we are facing is stereotypes. And so the first advice will be we have to break these stereotypes and to give another idea, another representation, another media representation of women in STEM and especially in cybersecurity. This is the first thing. The second thing is our own barriers. So we as women, we do self-censorship. According to a recent statistic, so they said that women don't apply in a job if they don't feel they meet the application requirement 100%. Men feel that 60% is enough. They will apply. So, yeah.
They go for 20%.
Even so, this is the problem. So we are doing a self-censorship of ourselves. So we have to be more trustful, as you said. We have to trust ourselves more. And if I found my way to have more confidence and to have more trust, I'm running. Especially, I'm just running. I'm doing self-marathons, and this helped me gaining this confidence and this trust in myself. So it may be a good idea to start running. The third thing is there is, like Dr. Samah said, there is a lack of role models, especially in cybersecurity. That's why we have to promote role model women models in STEM and in cybersecurity. This can be done through celebration of each and every milestone. We have to celebrate it. We have to say that this student did this thing, I did this thing. We have to celebrate every milestone in order to have this model or role model attitude. Of course, we cannot be, even if we are women or men, good in STEM without learning, and learning and learning is a lifelong learning journey. We have to still learning, especially in cybersecurity and in STEM, because every day we have new challenges, new attacks, new vulnerability, new issues. So we have to stay up to date, we have to learn, we have to take the time to build our knowledge, we have to stay curious. Of course, like Muna said, we have to find a support or a mentor. That's, for me, it's obvious. I was lucky to have a mentor during my PhD, and even my mom is jealous from her because she said, you love her more than you love me. So I was very lucky for that. So we have to find a mentor, not even in technical issue, even for life issue, to ask for help, or to share some stories, or to speak, just to speak. Yeah. Don't be afraid, because what is the risk? In cybersecurity, we have risk management. So we don't need to avoid the risk. We have to manage the risk. What will be the risk? You will fail? It's not a problem. We can manage this risk. And managing the risk is by reducing the risk, or avoiding the risk, or accepting the risk. So we can do one of the three choices. We have 3 choices, not even 1 choice. So we have to manage the risk, not avoid, not be afraid to take any action because we have the fear of the fail. And as I said, we have to celebrate every and each success. So I hope Nasreen and Asran will celebrate this success. Okay? And that's it. I think this is some of advices that I can give to myself and to every woman that want to take her place and to prove her place in STEM.
Dr. Najah, do you have other advices that you can give us also?
Yeah, I think they have covered it all, mashallah. Yeah, they've covered it all. It's just to be happy.
Okay, so maybe will tell us about, for example, Asran or Narans or Omran. How do you think they will help? How can these organizations help foster a more inclusive and supportive environment for women? Do you think they have a role?
Yes, because I think a woman needs a community to feel more confident. So maybe those organizations, they can form a type of communities maybe for women, whether it's just to have a chat or education seminars, which are just for women. A woman, when she sees her colleagues and other women who are really successful, she feels inspired. And she needs that encouragement. It's who you surround yourself with. So I think surrounding every woman with successful group of people will really help. And I think it's not just maybe women, it's even a mixture of women and men being around us. It really helps and encourages us to move forward.
Yeah, I have to. Okay, so let's go back to Dr. Muna.
Yes.
What excites you more about the future of women in STEM in the region?
Yeah, I do research, again, as I mentioned, with especially with women entrepreneurs, women technology entrepreneurship. So I ask them this question all the time, like, are you hopeful, about the future of women in technology? And I always receive a positive answer. I cannot be less positive. I do believe that now with technology being more pervasive, everything, like, it has broadened enough for everybody to say, I can be part of technology somehow. Like in the past, it was very specific. I would say a lot of women would say, like, it's not my thing. But now, like, it's easy enough to find anything you like within technology because it has become so broad, so pervasive. It's part of our everyday life. So this is one thing. It has made it easier maybe for women to penetrate the world of technology. But what I'm more excited about is that I see, and maybe the change is a bit slow, it has to be faster, but I see more companies, especially multinational companies, that are really encouraging women to reach to top positions. Some companies, like my husband works at a telecom company, multinational, it's the #1 company in the world, and they have put a quota for women in leadership positions, and it frustrates my husband. He always comes to tell me, like, because she's a woman, she got this position. I tell him this is good. It's like what we call, it's a type of affirmative action. It's positive discrimination, but this is the best way to give women opportunities. And hopefully one day we don't have to use quotas anymore. But for now, I totally believe that quotas are important. But why are they important? Because I believe that women don't just have the right to have say in decision making, but do you still hear me? Okay, but they also have a duty and a responsibility to shape the future. Again, we talked about how we as women, we have children, we have responsibilities to raise the future generations. We also have a responsibility to shape the world that our children and our grandchildren will live in. And this is something that frustrates me a lot when I see that women for like centuries and centuries have had almost no say in decision making in the world. And this is why I encourage also all women to be involved in politics, to be honest. This is something that I was very much against. I always thought politics is a dirty game. I don't want to be involved in it. But now I changed my mind, like since maybe a few years, I'm trying to get more involved, the more, savvy, I read much more. I mean, I'm not gonna run for office anytime soon, but who knows, maybe in 10 years time or something like that when I'm more ready. We have to be part of the game. We have to take decisions because again, women, but research shows, and it's also like intuitive, we care more about the planet, we care more about society. Doesn't mean that men shouldn't care, they have to care more, but like for now, we are the ones who really care for these issues which are pressing. Now we know more than ever that we cannot neglect climate issues, right? We cannot neglect societal issues. And technology is a great tool for us to help find effective solutions for these issues. So as women, again, we have the right first, but second, we have the duty and responsibility to be part of the change in the future.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. As we told also Dr. Ouafa, I think women always think to bring good for all, and that's why they should be part of the decision of the future. What do you think, Dr. Ryma?
So Dr. Mona encouraged women to go to politics. I will encourage them to go to cybersecurity. I'm still doing the same thing. So with the digital transformation and even the intelligence transformation that we are living, we are facing more and more need to cybersecurity, and especially there is a huge gap in cybersecurity experts in the world. Do you know how much? An estimation? 400,000? No. It's 4 million. Yeah. You are almost, yeah. Almost. We are lacking 4 million cybersecurity experts in the world. And I don't imagine that we can deprive the world from its health and try to grow, to move forward. It's impossible. So women have their place. They have their place in these movements. There is a huge demand, and especially that women have exactly, like Samah said, the essential skills needed in cybersecurity. They have the critical thinking. They look for details. It's like that. We have an attention to details. We have good problem-solving skills, and we have communication skills. And that's what we need in cybersecurity in order to detect attack, to respond to attack, to react to an attack, to manage a team during an attack and under an attack. So there is a gap. We have the needed skills. They need us. Just trust yourself, and and that's it. They need us. We don't need them. We need them.
We all need each other. Yeah, okay. So I will ask you one question, and I will not call for anyone. I will leave it to you to respond, whoever wants to respond. And then I will ask you one question for each, the same question for each of you. So the question that I will ask now is, how impactful do you think events like these are creating real change for women in STEM? What specific tools, resources, or follow-up actions can be integrated into such events to ensure their effectiveness and longevity in supporting women? I think we all meet in different conferences and then go home and do not follow up. And this is really something I think we all suffer from. So what do you think? Do you have any advice for the organizers for the project?
Yeah. For me, always I was thinking why, for example, in such events, though, we meet and we were happy to meet each other, and at the end, after we came back home, so we forgot. It's not fair. So I'm thinking how we can, now with social media and everything, so it's easy with new technology, so we can get in touch as a minimum, like just start to, for example, create, this is what we did in the 1 hour before, create WhatsApp group as a minimum, share innovative idea, don't be afraid to share idea, like collaborate, think always how to collaborate, because if we collaborate, we can help each other. And so this is the thing, because learning new stuff, it's not good, like just to learn stuff for yourself, it's not, no meaning. So you need to share the knowledge, you need to collaborate with the others. So this is the main thing.
Maybe I will add, maybe having some mentoring session, even private mentoring session for women or men or academia or any kind of participant. Maybe having this link and this mentoring session will be also, I think, very interesting during such events.
دكتور منى عندك؟
Yes, أكيد. Yes, I would like to say I have been part of a lot of similar conferences. I mean, it was like always an opportunity for me to grow and to be more empowered. But again, like I believe, and I don't know if I'm mistaken here, but like usually those who attend such conferences when it comes to women are somehow already empowered women, let's say they're high achieving, etc. So I think what needs to be done is to make sure that this also, propagates to other women in the society. And I think this is best done through the public sector, of course, which honestly I'm not very familiar of how it works due to its bureaucracy and so on. But most importantly to the private sector, I just gave an example of how private companies can, for example, enforce policies in place to make sure that women get opportunities to rise in the corporate ladder. So, for example, Lebanese League for Women in Business, which they have nominated me, and I'm thankful for them to be part of this panel today, they have an initiative called Women on Board, and they are training a lot of women in Lebanon to be part of boards of corporations. Because, again, research showed that even if you have one woman on the board of a company, it will make a lot of change in the company. First of all, it makes the company more profitable. So this is good news for private sector, but also it makes them, again, more responsible, think about sustainability, think about different angles and the society involved, the well-being of the employees. So it's very good for the company. So I think we have to think of, again, how would this propagate to both the public sector, so the governments? I know there are government, representatives, etc., on the conference. Would they really take these recommendations and push them in the different ministries and governments? And also the corporate sector, the private sector, are they willing to, again, give more opportunity for women across the board? And finally, really, I would like to see more inclusive panels from now on. I still don't understand why we might have, a fully male panel, or sometimes like a whole conference would be a fully male panel and only the MC is a female because she's like a media presenter. Like for me, this is shameful. I mean, I'm talking about Lebanon, right? So again, a country where everybody thinks women have more rights and more opportunities. Last year, I attended such a conference about innovation and technology, and all the panels were purely male, and there were some women on the organizing committees. I mean, I couldn't understand it. I think it's time to change that.
Yeah, we are so good in organizing. That's why they bring us to organize, and then they take the stage to speak. So thank you, Dr. Muna, Dr. Najah, Dr. Ouafa, Dr. Ryma. Now to end this session, I think people are looking forward for the dinner, but we are not still. We have to listen from each of you to a message What message would you like to give to the next generation of women leaders in STEM? بسرعة.
Okay, in few words. You are hungry? You are not hungry. We can take our time. Okay. So one day, my friend, he was a 90 years old friend, said to me, what is up to be is up to me. So what is up to be, it's up to us. So in few words, build your network, lift other ups, embrace every opportunity, believe in your ability, lead with confidence, break the stereotype, be resilient, and that's it. That is the magical advice to have to break through in STEM.
In few words, so I would say to all women in STEM, think how to be leaders and always be surrounded with positive and knowledgeable people. This is the most important thing.
I'll still say that know your values, maybe. What are your values? Stick to your values. Spiritually, you have to be very much connected. Like for us as Muslims, we always say that we have to be connected to our Creator. This connection makes you stronger than whatever you can imagine. You have to be strong inside. Don't wait for others to be independent. Don't wait for others to help you. If they are there, then they are there. If they're not there, then it's up to you. So you have to be strong, you have to be happy to make everyone around you strong as well. And you are the role model to whoever you are connecting with, whether in your family, your work. You have to still be strong and a role model to everyone. And I wish everyone all the best.
Dr. Mona?
Yes, so I started off by saying that I had to leave my job, to take care of my first child. And when I had my third child, I didn't leave my work for one day. And I was constantly traveling and doing all kinds of things. So what I learned from this experience is that no matter what you do, you can't go wrong. Meaning that you can still be the best mom, the best wife, the best daughter, even if you pursue your dreams and your career. This is a proven experience at my end. Of course, doesn't mean to undermine the family importance, but as also our dear panelists mentioned, you are your kids' biggest role model. So I always feel proud when my kids talk about me in front of their friends and they say my mom founded this company, she does this and that. So this is what shaped them the most, more than just me being, next to them and loving them as any mother would do. One more thing I would like to say is that don't be afraid to sometimes be controversial and speak your mind. So a lot of women sometimes when they are a little successful, they feel that they have to just replicate what other leaders have done in the past. And I believe that in order to be really successful and to stand out, we have to speak our minds, even if that means sometimes being controversial. So even if some people would hate you, that's okay, but you will shine at the end of the day. This is something I learned. So I always speak my mind, even if not everybody agrees with me, and I know, it will strike some debate. But this is what, again, would make us stand apart. And at the end of the day, we want to move things forward and change. And in my opinion, we need a lot of change in this world. So we cannot just keep doing the same things we did in the past. We have to do them differently. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mona. So before we end the session, do you have any question? Dr. Youssef, تفضل.
Hello? No, it's about just to thank you and maybe all of you mentioned, but specifically Ouafa, that we go home and that's all. This is not our model of work, so you are in charge, all of you, to follow. And so to take your experience further and to guide us how to take your experience further to our community. However, in addition to that, we have mentoring program. We have a lot of things to do for you. So we need you, and I would like to have maybe 1 minute from Nasreldin to tell you what do we have also.
Thank you. Thank you for the inspiring session. I was taking videos. Okay, this part is interesting. This part is interesting. So I couldn't stop taking videos because all of your stories are inspiring. I hope the audience enjoyed as much as I myself enjoyed. We just want to emphasize on the point that this session is just one of the steps that we're doing as ASRIN as part of the EU Mid Plus project. So we have a work package specifically under this project to support women, specifically in the Arab region. And we will have mentoring program that will be launched in March next year, in the same date of Women's Day. But so hopefully, inshallah. So yes, so as part of this mentoring program, you will have many success stories with a dedicated mailing list. So once it's launched on the website, we invite all to subscribe, even men. It's not only for women. So just to get these stories and hear about it, so to get inspired more and more. So thank you very much. If there are no other questions, maybe on the logistics part? Yeah, okay.
Just more an observation. Well, first and foremost, it was mind-boggling hearing your voices, very inspiring. I also recall with Najah, I had the pleasure to share the best coffee in my life, not because of the quality of the coffee, but the quality of the conversation. And Ouafa, you were uplifting when we met recently at TNC. But another observation I wanted to make, I've just spoken to my colleague Tom. In Europe, we have 40 or so NRENs, and we were just tallying up how many women are at the helm of NRENs. And I think we came to 3, and we have, in the Arab world, in the Arab NREN world, we have 3 here in this room. We have Jamila here, we have Awush here, and I can't find Sausan here, and Sausan here. So, hallelujah.
دكتور إسلام بروفيسور إسلام تفضل مايك ممكن للبروفيسور إسلام
I have to appreciate all these women's stories, but I would like to raise a few things. If you allow me, I'll be short as. Most of these challenges are for women all over the globe. It's not just for the Arab or African women. Sometimes the culture needs some extra challenges, but still we look for the family, we look for the culture, we look for the something who drive our mindset. But what I would like that believe in yourself, as you said, this is quite important. The second thing is women always in rush. My wife is in rush. She wants everything at the same time. My wife is a professor, university professor, and we faced all these kind. I was recall all my life along the way. So you said the mindset changes. I think the internet connectivity, the social media played a role in changing the mindset of man and the mindset of women as well. If you put your family in the top priority, I'm sure you will get your work and career at the top as well. Because your life, you will always ask ourselves, what is my value to this life? When I go die, what is my heritage? What is my history? I made a good family, I made a good son and daughter, I made a good career, I was a role model. So I think this kind of women need to be looked to the not obstacles from our cultures that need to, it's up to yourself as well. The second thing is, I'm calling from home now, so the brain of the woman is completely different from the brain of man. Brain of man always is a chambers, isolated chambers. He think in one thing at the same time. Woman is thinking about many things at the same time. So this is why sometimes it make a hinder. The last advice for women is don't take your problems from work to home or vice versa. Because if you if you keep your problems from work to home or vice versa, it make a depression. It creates a woman that is depressed, that is not moving forward, so it does need help. So I acknowledge and appreciate your what you have done. I seek you to be giving a role model to girls. Speak to them about self-confidence, what you have to be, what you're supposed to do, what problems you need to do, and leave it to choose. Because sometimes if I enforce a daughter or girl to a specific dimension, it doesn't succeed. If she likes engineering, she will be very good engineer. If she likes drawing and painting, she will be very good. So I have to leave it to her own. But what I have to do is give her momentum of life, of being cheerful, of being helpful, of being supportive, of being to the community. So thank you again, and I'm very, very pleased and happy for all this success story. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Any more questions? I don't think you need a resume of what. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So, thank you. I am Professor Najah. Actually, nowadays I am the Dean of the Faculty of Letters and Humanities, but my first diploma is, I am an engineer of the National School of Engineering of Tunis, and my PhD was in water resources water resource management using remote sensing. So you can see that I am very far from my first, let's say, expertise. Thank you, each of these beautiful ladies, to share with us your life and your challenges. But what I want to say is each one of us has and will have challenges. It's the life. I think that perhaps we have to overcome the glass ceiling that we have on our top. For women, the glass ceiling is very low, but it has an advantage. We just have to raise our arms to break it. Perhaps we will find another glass ceiling, but it's life. So we are asking ourselves to make more than men. We are made like this. We want to be the best mom, the best daughter, the best engineer, the best dean, the best of all. So we should accept that we want to be the best, and sometimes we bring our problems to home. It's not a problem because we manage them. And I am asking, do you bring your problems to home? I think so. So just accept, we should accept ourselves, and we should be proud of what we are. Thank you. I think that we should be on the top. And we should be happy. And when we are happy, even when we have challenges, we are happy to have challenges. Because that's our life. We want to have them. If we don't want challenges, we don't go to school, we don't graduate, and perhaps we will not be here to listen to you. So thank you very much. Just broke the glass ceiling. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Yes, we have to break this glass ceiling. We already broke many glass ceilings. That's why we are here today. That's why these inspiring ladies are here. I see that their hands were influenced by this glass ceiling, but they kept breaking it every time, and we have to celebrate them. As Dr. Ryma said, we are celebrating them today, and we are so happy to have you. So thank you again, and a big clap for you all. Thank you very much.